In today's Sharp Saturday Kephart knife mini-series, we're going to stretch the boundaries a little bit of the Kephart design and of my ability to pronounce foreign words. But we're going to take a look at the Casstrom Lars Falt knife, the Bushcraft knife. And it's probably, like I said, a little stretch to call this a Kephart, but it shares enough common designs that I'm gonna make the stretch. And we're gonna take a look at this one coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. As I said, in this edition of the Kephart mini-series, part of the Sharp Saturday series overall, we're going to be taking a look at a knife that is sort of, maybe not exactly a Kephart design, but it's close enough and it shares some of the attributes that I thought I would just go ahead and include it. It's kind of an example of the fact that design, which Horace Kephart kind of made famous, is really a classic design. It's just kind of his take on an already classic functional design, and this knife I think is going to hopefully give us a good example of why that design is so useful. So it shares some common features with the Kephart, the standard traditional Kephart, and it shares some differences. We're going to talk about the similarities, the differences, the specs of this individual knife, and get to doing some of that knife stuff in just a minute. But first, as always, I want to say a big thank you to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for making these Sharp Saturday videos possible. And if you're not familiar with Big Daddy Unlimited, they are a membership site that allows you to pay a monthly or annual membership and be able to buy things that go bang and things with blades and all sorts of other really cool outdoor gear at really great prices. Literally the lowest prices usually you can find anywhere. If you join the channel through my link, and by the way, it's survivalonpurpose.com/BDU, you can get your first 30-day membership for just 99 cents. So you can check it out, see if it makes sense for you. If it does and you continue on, then they'll throw me a couple of bucks. And so I don't make any money unless you're happy, and I think that's really a good way to support the channel, and that makes sense for everybody. So I mean, it's just kind of a win-win. Thanks again to those guys for being such great help to the channel. Now let's talk about this knife. So let's talk about the specs of this thing first, just the general specs, get that out of the way. Then we'll go down the old stump top. We'll put this one side by side with the benchmark we're using for this series, the Becker BK62, which is a straight up modern copy of an original Kephart design knife that Ethan Becker was able to get his hands on that didn't have a lot of wear on it, so it's really got the original specs to it. So anyway, let's go with that first. The overall length of this knife is 9 inches. Features a 4.5-inch blade of Scandi ground K720 tool steel with a handle length of 4.5 inches of really nice curly birch with a traditional Scandinavian linseed oil mixture finish. The weight of this knife is just 6.15 ounces, so it's very light and nimble. And the thickness at the guard is 3.5 millimeters. This knife also comes with a really nice leather sheath with a nice deep carry, so it's not going to get lost. And it's just a really nice feeling, nice looking knife. Let me give you a couple of close-ups before we go down to the old stump top. Just look at the grips on the scales on this handle, whatever you want to call them. I call them handles. You can call them scales. Very pretty. The workmanship on this thing is really nice. The grind is extremely even. If you look at, you can tell kind of at the bottom there where it connects to the handle, how even that grind is there. You can look at the tip and see how even it is, that Scandi grind. Did a really nice job. The workmanship on this thing is really nice. The MSRP on these things is about $225, so they're not super cheap knives. But the street price I found is about $185. So, and again, they're designed by, here we go with the extremely bad pronunciation, Lars Falt, who is a bushcraft, just a legendary bushcraft instructor and survival instructor. So. Anyway, that's that. Let's take it down to the old stump top now, and we'll see how this thing stacks up against the Becker BK62. Okay, so now that we've got both these knives here together, you can see there's several stark differences between the two, but there's also some similarities. So let's talk about the similarities first. First, they're very similar size and dimensions, I guess. The Kephart might be just maybe about a 1/2 inch longer, but the handles are about the same size. The this cast Iberia one is a little bit thicker here, but it's got a little swell here, where this is the original Kephart, which is pretty much flat right here with a little flare at the end. But they both have a little bit of a finger notch there. They're both really comfortable in your hand. They both have wooden handles. They're both full tang, and they both have sort of a spear point design in that the tip is center line of the knife. So if you're doing any kind of boring activities or whatever actions, it actually does a pretty good job of that. But that's kind of where the similarities end, and let's talk about the differences. So obviously the shape of the Kephart is a lot longer flat before it starts tapering. It kind of tapers down at the very end, where the this Bushcraft one from the Lars Falt knife. So I'm trying to remember that. It kind of tapers more down into a kind of almost a drop point, but a more traditional Bushcraft style point. And then the handles, they both have a little flare here at the blade end, but the Lars Falt also has a little flare here at the butt end with a little swell, a palm swell in there, so it gives a little bit different feel. The BK62, the Becker, has a tapered tang, and it's a full flat tang here with the Lars Falt knife. And another big difference is this one has I don't know if it's a full 90-degree spine, but we're going to find out, versus the chamfered spine here on the Kephart. And finally, the Kephart has a full flat grind with a little secondary bevel, and the Casstrom obviously has a Scandi grind. But so that's the differences and similarities. We're gonna put the Kephart up now and go ahead and just do some. And they both have, by the way, deep kind of leather sheaths, but as you can see, the Lars Falt has more of a deeper traditional kind of traditional European style sheath, and I actually like this a little better, just because it's going to be, you don't have as much handle to grip to pull it out, but it's going to be a lot more secure in a tough situation. And they're both very well made leather sheaths. So now let's get to doing some of that knife stuff. The other significant difference is this one's around 120 bucks, and this one's probably around 180 bucks a street price. So there's that. What all we do is do some knife stuff, and the first thing I want to do obviously is the redneck sharp test. So we'll try this testing medium this time instead of the ooh, my goodness gracious, would you just look at that, man, oh man. I mean, that's like, whew, yeah. I think you could probably shave a reindeer with that one. Okay, so that's really, really good, by the way. I'm just going to say that. So I've found an old piece of really, really dry cedar in the shed, because I'm running out of testing medium here. I gotta round me up some more testing medium here at the laboratory at worldwide headquarters of Survival on Purpose. But you can hear that it's really, really solid. So what I thought we'd do is, this is not a chopper, it's a Bushcraft knife. So, and Horace Kephart was pretty big on having the right tool for the job, and he didn't do a lot of chopping and batoning with his knives. But I ain't Horace. So what we're going to try to do, I think, here is see if I can just kind of chop through this with a little batoning and see how well it cross batons. And then we'll be able to check that steel, the edge again, and see if it holds its edge after this. Because this is about the toughest kind of batoning you can do, especially on some really dry hardwood. We'll just beaver baton our way through it. Is that a correct terminology? Beaver baton? We're going to do it anyway and see. And so if you were in a situation where you had to do this for whatever reason, maybe you're making a shelter and you just don't have anything else, any other way to do it, then you just want to be really careful with your knife, because you don't want to tear your tool up and break your tool if you're in a survival situation. But you can do, with a good solid blade, you can do a lot with it, and you don't have to treat it like it's made out of porcelain. By the way, just look at that pretty cedar there. And again, I'm not really trying to do a destruction test on this thing. I don't do destruction testing. You could tear up anything. I could probably break an anvil if I tried. I'm not the generally known as the most gentle person when it comes to using tools and stuff, but we just knock it on through there a little bit. But you can also get the tool to do what you need it to do without tearing it up, which I think takes a lot more skill than just breaking stuff. So let's just see if it'll break now. So that's what happens when you got it really dry and you don't split it all the way through. It breaks out like that. Would you look at that? Man, would you just look at it? So we're gonna split that out there. So man, look at that, it's so pretty. And before we do anything else, let's just see how well the edge is mid-maintained. So that did not appear to really have damaged the edge at all. So this is really strong steel, by the way. This K720, I've read it's really, really hard and it holds an edge really well. So now we'll do some regular batoning before we carve some curls, because you know I got to carve some curls out of this cedar. My gosh, would you just look at that? They're gonna be pretty curls. And so let's just do that. I mean, it splits. This is so dry, it splits so wonderfully. It's really not much of a test of the knife. It's more just a way to get some stuff to carve curls with. So, wow, that's really pretty. I have to put, you know, my testing medium up so that Kuma the Wonder Dog doesn't destroy it on me. So, okay, so do a little chopping, a little batoning, and still got a good edge. Let's do a little carving now with that good edge and see how well it makes some of those nice little curls. So I really got these a little short for working with because you only have a lot of space to carve the curls. But this thing is cutting like butter. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing, huh? Say hello to everybody. Say hello, YouTube. Okay. Let's carve a few out of this little thin piece right here. It's kind of pretty. So that's the carving. I mean, it carves pretty good. Obviously, you got some nice little curls there, and we're going to try those in just a minute, see how well they make some of that far. But I'll try a little scraping with this spine because it's not super sharp, but it's pretty sharp. Let's see. So really not too bad. Man, that smells good. So I thought we'd do go ahead and see how well this works without any cheating, with no fat wood, and then we'll try some fat wood. Look out, move. It'll cut you, move. Okay, we're gonna try scraping this ferro rod first. Okay, it works. There we go, man. That smells so good when it's burning too. Gosh, that smells great. I wish we had smell-o-vision because I'm telling you, that smells great. So, that being said, it is a knife video, and I would be remiss if we didn't at least show you a little bit of this gorgeous fat wood. So, and this is actually a piece of fat wood that I'm trying to smooth it up here a little bit, that I gathered literally probably 7 years ago, maybe at least well over 6, and it's been laying on the ground out here at the worldwide headquarters for basically that's where I store it, just on the ground for about 6 years. Let's just see if we can scrape some fat wood here. And just that, man, some people call it lighter knot. I'm not sure what else they call it. I call it fat wood, but I've heard it called lighter knot and pine knot and lighter wood and different things. But I'm just going to show you, try to show you quickly why I like it so much. If you haven't seen it before, but you can just scrape it, some of it like so. Get a nice little dust here. You saw all I did was just carve the outer edge, the outer oxidation off of it, because it oxidizes like this, but inside it is this golden, beautiful aroma, just aromatic goodness. So anyway, back in storage, and let's show you this. Okay, I was trying to be like dramatic and get it with one strike, but it didn't work. But see that nice black smoke coming off of it? That's because of the resins in it that make it so such a great fire resource. So, okay, well, that was a hopefully reasonably coherent and admittedly quick look at the, try again, the Casstrom Lars Falt Bushcraft knife. I probably screwed that up, but if so, I apologize, Lars. But and again, we included this one in the Kephart series just because of the similarities. And also, I just kind of wanted to use it again to demonstrate that you know, Horace Kephart didn't really reinvent the wheel. He just maybe put a couple of modifications to it, because this is a pretty classic design with the the center point and the the kind of a basic wood handle full time. I just like it a lot. It's a really nice, handy knife. Again, made in Sweden. And the fit and finish on this thing, if I didn't show you, just man, there's like there's no discernible, well, okay, a barely discernible transition between the wood, the liners, and the tang. It's really, really smooth. It's really great design. And she's sharp. And by the way, since we've done all that stuff, let's just see if she's still sharp. And oh my gosh, man, I mean, like, I could probably shave this mustache off, but I'm not going to right now. So anyway, and you see we're here in front of the old balance, orientation, and rotation device. And as disappointing as it may be to you, and really to me as well, I'm going to maintain trying to get this fat wood off here. I'm going to maintain the specs, I guess, the system that we're using here for the Kephart series, and we're not going to balance test this one because look, it's got wooden handles on them. They're really, really pretty, and if I screw up my calibration, we could break those, and so we're not going to do that. So don't worry, next week we'll probably be doing some balance testing on something using the old balance, orientation, and rotation device here at the cutting edge testing facility at Survival on Purpose Worldwide headquarters. But until then, thanks again to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for making this video possible. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Put out a brand new video every Friday, every Saturday, sometimes random videos throughout the week. Anyway, I really appreciate your support. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.